I have tried to list the 15 best World War II themed films that have left their mark on cinema. So without further ado, let's start in order. Set in April 1945, in the last days of the Second World War, Fury is an impressive production that deals with the impact of war on people, heroism, and the cruelty of human nature, as well as its star cast, and ranked 15th on my list. A German production, Downfall, focuses on the final days of one of history's most controversial figures, Adolf Hitler. Near the end of the Second World War, Berlin is under siege, and Hitler, unable to cope with the occupation, is about to sign one of the most important events in history, one of the most important biographies in the history of cinema. The film was nominated for an Academy Award in the Best Foreign Language Film category. Signed by Mel Gibson, Hacksaw Ridge tells the story of a hero who saves nearly 75 people without firing a single bullet. Set on the Pacific Front of the Second World War, the film tells the story of a non-combatant Christian paramedics struggle to save soldiers wounded in battle, an impressive production that emphasizes the power of human faith and determination. Another German production, Stalingrad, is a must-see film about the Battle of Stalingrad, one of the most important battles of World War II. The film tells the story of this bloody war between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, and focuses on the destruction and hardships of the people. People during the Second World War, Army of Shadows, tells the story of their participation in the resistance, espionage, torture, death, and the evil that war does to people, and how war affects the lives of ordinary people. Their participation in the resistance, espionage, torture. This production is about death and the evils that war does to people, how it affects the lives of ordinary people. Inglourious Bastards, by Quentin Tarantino, which tells the story of a group of Jewish soldiers fighting against Nazi Germany in the Second World War, tells the story of how far people can go in a war and the consequences of the quest for revenge. Of course, Tarantino tells this with both humor and brutality, with Tarantino's unique narrative style. Undoubtedly one of the recent films that come to mind when it comes to the Second World War. Dunkirk, by Christopher Nolan, about the Dunkirk evacuation. Hundreds of thousands of British and Allied soldiers were killed by enemy soldiers. It is a great production that becomes more and more appreciated over time, with its great visuals, impressive soundtrack, and the director's unique storytelling. The Great Escape, about a group of POWs held captive in a high-security camp during the war, is an unforgettable classic starring Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, and others that shows how war triggers creativity and resilience in people, and how powerful a person's quest for freedom can be. Set under the German Sea during the Second World War, Das Boot is a thriller that emphasizes the pressure and fear that war creates in people's minds. An epic war film from 1981 by director Wolfgang Peters, who also made a great impression with his film Troy. A bridge built by Japan during the Second World War. The bridge on the River Kwai is an impressive classic that shows the darker aspects of human nature, the pressure of war on the human mind, and the devastating effects of war. It has written its name in golden letters in the history of cinema. The Thin Red Line is an in-depth movie about a group of American men who make important discoveries about themselves during the war and focuses on their suffering. Rather than action, it is an in-depth movie about how war affects people's moods, how war can change a person, and the power of nature on humanity, and it ranks 5th on my list. The Pianist tells the story of a pianist's struggle for survival in the Warsaw Ghetto during the Second World War. A touching production by Roman Polanski that shows what the struggle for survival can do to a person. Schindler's List, set in Poland during the war and about the persecution of Jews, exposed the Holocaust, one of the darkest periods in human history, and the evil of man's inhumanity to man. Saving Private Ryan, the movie about a group of American soldiers finding a missing soldier for a special mission after the Normandy landings in World War II, is an undisputed masterpiece about the interconnectedness of people during war. Let's move on to the first on the list, the Soviet masterpiece Come and See, set in Belarus during the Second World War. It's a film about the devastating effects of war on people, the inhuman violence, and the devastating consequences of war, which I can put in the first place of the list without a doubt.